guys, and welcome to our Japanese garden escape. I'm Teresa, and on this channel I will tell you all about the garden maintenance we do throughout the year, how we prune and clip our trees and shrubs, and how we encourage moss to grow instead of grass. A few years ago, my partner Adam and I traveled to Japan and we visited a lot of Japanese gardens. They're absolutely beautiful. This is a landscape that is almost surreal to see and to be in. Everything is clipped and pruned and super tidy, but still everything looks very natural. And this is what inspired us to design our garden the way we did, and how we planted it and how we landscaped it. And this is what I would like to show you on this channel. This is our very first video and we're very excited to walk you through our garden. We'll do a tour and we're starting right here. The pathway you can see behind me is the pathway that leads from our car park to our house that is behind you onto the left side. And this pathway is graveled. Graveled pathways or stone pathways are one typical compound or element of Japanese gardens. Also, you can see a rock right here. Rocks are also very common in Japanese gardens. You will not see a garden without rocks in them. This area you can see here is planted mainly with some boxwoods and with Japanese hollies, those guys here. And this area we have in this video already planted, but you'll see the planting of this area in the next video we will release. If you follow me down the pathway, on the ground here, you can see that we have no grass at all. We have just dirt and some moss growing here. And this is what we're trying to encourage to do everywhere. So instead of having grass, to have a continuous moss cover everywhere we can. I will talk about this more in a separate video. Let's walk down the pathway a little bit more. We do have the first blossoms in the garden. The first one here you can see is a small cherry blossom shrub. This is a flowering cherry and it has these beautiful pink flowers in spring, so they just opened a few days ago. This is really beautiful to see. Moving further on, you can see that we have mounds here. Mounds are also very common in Japanese gardens, so we made them just by putting soil there and compacting it with just shovels. And we have transplanted some moss from another area onto these mounds. So you can see here that they are also all covered in moss. At the moment it's springtime, that means it's very dry, so the moss looks also dried out. But as soon as it rains, this will become lush and green again. These plants you can see here, this is called Japanese Andromeda. This is a plant that grows about that tall, even taller if you let it. This is also found a lot in Japanese gardens. Here you can see another rock and some of our azaleas. They have a white blossom in May time, I think it is. So you'll see this on future videos. Now let's head down to our big bamboo. We're now going towards our main garden. This is another gravel pathway you can see. This is basalt gravel, and this pathway leads from here all the way around those two big bushes. They are silver thorns onto the other area. Here I thought I'd do a stop at our bamboo. This is one of the areas where we grow bamboo. This one is golden bamboo, and next to it here you can see arrow bamboo. Both these bamboo types are running bamboo types. That means the new shoots, they grow out quite a long way from the actual mother plant. So we do not use any root block. That means we have to maintain that every year. This is also something that you will see in future videos. Now let's move on to another area. Or actually, let me show you just here. This is a very good example of where we got rid of all the grass. So this bit here, for example, was covered in grass entirely. And because we picked the grass and because it's shaded out, you can see this is now fully covered in moss. So we didn't plant any moss here, this just started to grow all by itself. It takes a few years to develop that kind of moss growth, but once it does, it is really rewarding to see, so we're very happy about this. Let's walk down the pathway to the next area. So here you can see the area that is right next to the big silver thorns. Those two bushes, they were already here in the garden when we purchased this property a few years ago. They're really big. I started to prune them actually last year. It's quite a big job. We're gonna film some of that also later in the year. Here we did some mounds as well, as I showed you before. This one here and this one here behind me. And here also another example of the moss growth. So this has just started by itself, and you can see it's even starting to overgrow the gravel pathway. This is also really, really nice to see. We have, here you can see one of our lamps, of our Japanese lamps we have. This is also a typical element of Japanese gardens. So let's move down into the main garden area. So our plot size is about 32,000 square feet, or about 3,000 square meters. And the area you start seeing now behind me, this is the main garden area. And all this was a blank canvas when we started to develop that garden. So other than the big mature trees you can see in the background, there was nothing here, just grass. And we started to plant, to landscape, to make mounds, and yeah, to make ponds and to develop everything that you will see. Here in this area we do not have any pathways down here. This is more a very lush and green and soft area. We have most of our rhododendron here. You can see one right in front of me. These rhododendron, they bloom in beautiful colors. They should come out actually in a few weeks time. You're gonna see that in future videos. And we have white, we have yellow, we have purple, and we have pink. It's really an absolutely beautiful picture. We have a lot of Japanese maples also in the garden. This is one of them. It's still a bit too early in the year, so the maples do not have leaves yet. Sorry, these are our sheep. Our neighbor has sheep, and sometimes they're really loud. It's quite funny. Yeah, anyway, so they will have leaves very soon. And the picture you can see of the garden now, this is the winter picture of the garden. So all the shrubs and trees you can see that have leaves are evergreen shrubs and trees. Anything that is deciduous doesn't have any leaves yet. So you will see in later videos that in summer the picture is very different. It's a lot fuller and even greener than it is now. Behind me in the background you can see our mature spruces. Those were already here, they belong to our property, and they are, we think, about 60 years old. They're about 90 feet or 30 meters tall, and it's really, really nice to have those in the garden because they create a little forest area in the garden. We'll show you that in another video. So and this bush you can see there in the background, this really big one, this is a laurel. This was also here. This is completely uncut, so this is not pruned or anything, and it is just very beautiful to see that in front of the big trees. So now let's move on to more the center part of our garden, which is our Japanese bridge, and I'll show you that and talk more about that. So this bridge, we had this put in a few years ago. And this was really one of the pieces that completed our Japanese garden. It is made out of large wood, that means it doesn't need any treatment, and we had this put in a few years ago. This bridge leads over our dry creek, which runs underneath, and the dry creek connects the small pond, which we have up there, to our big pond, which is right there. Originally we wanted to have running water along this creek, but with the pump system and so on, we tried that didn't really work. So we decided for a dry creek, which is something you see quite a lot in Japanese gardens actually. All these gravel here and these rocks you can see, we set them all ourselves. And here you can also see that the dry creek is starting to get overgrown by moss because the moisture stays down here, and this is really, really fantastic to see. On this side of the bridge we have different kind of pathways. We use white gravel for those. And you can see here we have crossing pathways. What you find a lot in gardens in Japan is a stone or a rock on the bottom where the pathways are crossing. So we tried to recreate this by putting this flat stone in here. Next to me here we have more Japanese maples. We do have different kinds of Japanese maples. Also those are do not have any leaves yet because it's too early in the year, but you'll see how this looks a bit later on. Now let's have a look to the big pond. So this big pond was dug out and holds about 20,000 liters of water. That's about 5,300 gallons of water. The pond is completely natural, so we do not have a filter system and we do not put any enhancing things in it, so we'll just leave it to it really. So the pond has still water, the water doesn't really move a lot, and this is why we get a lot of newts living in the pond throughout the year, which is really nice to see. We do have a few snails in there, we do have a few shells in there to filter the water naturally, and we have a lot of pond plants. At the moment the plants you can see they're still from last year, and this will be one of the jobs to clean those plants out. In the background there we have a different type of bamboo growing. This is not a running bamboo, this is more like a compact growing bamboo, and you can also prune this one easily, so this gives a really nice background to the big pond. Here you can see some boxwoods that are pruned. This is one of the jobs I do several times a year, and I will show you how I do that. Here on the ground, this is an area where we just started to encourage moss to grow. This side of the garden, we call it normally the right-hand side of the garden because it's on the right-hand side of the creek. This one gets a lot more sun than the other side because there are no big trees shading it out. And this is why in front of the pond there's mainly grass, because moss has hard times growing in full sun. However, this area is more shaded out, and so here we took away the remaining grass, and moss is already starting to grow here and there. So hopefully in a year or two time this will be completely covered in moss. Now let's have a look behind the pond. And so we see I can show you the irises, and we see a different view of the garden. Here you can see other bushes that are pruned and that will be pruned again very soon. This is where the white gravel pathway ends, and here we continued with stone slabs going all the way to there. You can see on the ground that we haven't done our spring cleanup yet, but it's now the right time to start, and this is all jobs that I will show you on this channel, how we do them. So here is a different view of the pond and of our garden. If you're looking that way, you can see our big trees in the background, the spruces, and next to the pond, the two pines you can see there, the small one and the bigger one. These are black pines. Black pines are unfortunately quite hard to find here, but always when we do, I'll always grab one if we have a spot available in the garden. Last thing I want to show you here is our Japanese irises. So these are still the dried ones from last year, and we will need to cut them and make space for the new growth, which has already started, which you can see here. In Japanese gardens they grow irises typically in the water. We don't, because we have other pond plants in the water, so we grow them next to the pond, and they have, in a few weeks time, they will have a beautiful purple blossom. It's really, really nice to see. Right, then let's move on to the last area I'm going to show you for today. In this area here we have most of our azaleas. You can see them here. At the moment they do not look that great because azaleas are semi-deciduous, which means they lose most of their leaves during the winter, at least that type that we grow here. They do have really a beautiful pink blossom, typically mid or end of April time, and all this strip here is really full of pink blossoms. This is so beautiful to see. Now let's move further into our zen area. On the way you can see some more Japanese maples, like here for example. This shrub here I also prune the Japanese way. We will do that soon again. This is a Portuguese laurel. We use that here as replacement for camellia trees, which do not grow in our climate here. We are in a climate zone 6. That means we have hot summers and cold winters, and so this Portuguese laurel grows well here, and this is what we use as a replacement for this. This is another maple tree here, and here now you can see our zen area. So on this pathway we are starting with the stone slabs again that lead all the way around. We have done another mound here which is covered in moss. We do have some more Japanese hollies. This is also a holly, it's a different type of holly, and you can see another stone lantern there in the background. These grasses, this is also one of the pruning jobs I do in spring. Those grasses, they have just grown everywhere in the garden here really, and we've just collected them and put them in this area, but they do over time grow too long and too big, and so we prune them every year in spring. Let's move up a little bit. So behind me you can see a stone wall. This is also something that is seen a lot in Japanese gardens. We set this stone wall ourselves. In front of the stone wall you can see more bamboo. This is black bamboo we grow here. This one does have a root block, but they really like to escape the bamboo, so also this one we have to take care of during the year, that the roots don't escape. Here you can see a water basin. This is a replica of a very famous water basin from a Japanese temple garden, and we found one in England actually and drove it all the way to here, and we have it set there. The only thing that is missing is a bamboo pipe where the water comes out, but we may put that in the future. The very last thing I'm showing you today are our 2 cherry blossom trees. This one here and that one back there. They are Japanese flowering cherries. At the moment, also for them, it's too early, but when they're in full bloom, they have beautiful pink blossoms. They are completely full, and we're gonna show you in a different video. So anyway guys, this concludes our garden tour for today. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please give us a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye!